am the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and you're listening to the Booty League Podcast.
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Booty League Podcast, Week 9, Episode 8. We have James as our special guest today, wearing his patented championship belt again. What's up?
A lot of you guys have seen it, but very few have owned it.
Absolutely. I can't wait till I get it back.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll jump right into the breaking news slash waiver wire talks. Oh, yeah. So we have Jordan Wilkins, 5 bids, $35 going to Marcus. Matt Breida, 5 bids, $27 going to Jonathan, but now I have him. Marvin Jones, $5 or 5 bids, $14 going to Royce. Houston, 3 bids, $8 going to James, and Chris Boswell, 3 bids, $4 going to me. Anything you guys want to talk about here?
How about the Jordan Wilkins one? Playing Baltimore this week, and then I think 35, and I think the next highest bid was like 10. What'd you guys think about that big bag spent by Marcus?
Jordan, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You start.
Wait, I just had a question. Jordan Wilkins is, I guess, is the Colts running back, right?
Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
Colts
Yeah,
running
so
back.
that should just say it in itself. Like, it wasn't really on my radar too much because, again, what's his name? Jonathan Taylor was a little banged up, but then you also got the part where the coach didn't know about that until after the game, so it's a little confusing about the usage. And they're coming off out of a bye into that game too, which is a little confusing for everybody. But I think that's too much given the circumstances of the situation.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Jordan Wilkins is that exciting of a player as well. I know he's gotten opportunities in the past, filling in for Marlon Mack, but I think all in all, he needs to be hyper efficient with his carries and his opportunities. But other than that, it's been pretty lackluster for the most part. I don't think, at least, especially for this week, he's basically unusable. And so by the time he gets a good matchup, maybe Jonathan Taylor isn't as hurt anymore, and this turns into either um, Jonathan Taylor as the lead dog, or a three-way committee.
You guys still feeling Jonathan Taylor after like 9 months or 9 weeks since the hype at the beginning of the year
No,
was out of control?
not a fan personally.
It's pretty disappointing. I was pretty shocked that not. He's basically a bust at this point.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people thought this was the second coming of Zeke. Especially like Zeke coming to a team with a really solid O line. Jonathan Taylor came onto the Colts with a lot of people saying the number one ranked O line heading into this season.
Mhm.
So and I know Philip Rivers isn't very exciting either, and this whole offense has been kind of a dud. So that might have a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
All right, and some questionable waiver wire bids. So these were higher priced, and only one person bid on them. Jordan Howard for 10, and Arizona Cardinals for 9. You guys want to make a comment about either of them?
Um, Jordan Howard has been a healthy scratch for a majority of the season. I don't think, especially for Michael, who does not have that much money left, putting $10 down on this, I guess, blue chip stock, it's too rich for my blood.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and was it $9? Arizona's D went to me. I think their matchup. I know $9 was a lot. I don't know what else. I put in a bid for like $5. I think I would have gone it at $5, but I didn't want to risk it because I they do have a good matchup this week against the Dolphins coming off of their bye against Tua, a rookie quarterback in his second game, so I think that'll be favorable for him. But also, I think the Cardinals matchups down the stretch will be favorable too, after like the Seahawks and New England. It's more like a stash, long-term stash for me than a play right now because right now we're getting into the playoffs and fighting for seeding and stuff like that. So you
Mhm.
really do have to look for the future. You can't really be looking like 1 or 2 spots ahead for teams that are in the hunt right now. So right now, I'm not really looking for depth on my bench anymore. I'm really looking to consolidate what I have and then use my bench pieces to stream what I need in the future for the playoffs. So that's the reasoning behind Arizona.
Absolutely.
Quick questions. What are your early predictions of who makes the playoffs? If I'm correct me if I'm wrong. I think eight teams make it this year.
Six
Nah,
teams.
6.
6. Oh, that's a little
Yeah.
rough.
So you have right now the seating would be first would be Jonathan, second would be David, third would be Ty, fourth would be Royce, fifth is James, and sixth is Timmy. Do you see any movement here?
Uh, um, let's
I think
go.
we all have one name, at least one name highlighted
Yeah, I
as a
think or two,
strong.
two also two.
You would say 2?
I
Oh,
would
I'm pretty sure we have one.
moving out, right? Because I thought I
Yeah,
was under the
moving out.
impression that it was 8 teams, so that'd make it a little bit tougher to move.
Oh yeah.
But right now I see Royce and Ty at 5 and 3. I do see their rosters moving out of the top, at least one of them, and I think they are playing each other, so that'll help. That'll help with that this week. What about you guys?
Royce is my pick to get out.
Same here.
Oh, look at low hanging fruit. Low
Yeah,
hanging.
okay.
All
Yeah.
right, all
Okay.
right. Let's
Not much debate there.
yeah. Let's another. Who do you pick to move? Pick 2 people you think will move into the contention, and one besides Royce and Ty to move out.
Oh man. I think Timmy. I think if I had to pick Timmy at 4-4, he has a tough matchup this week. Puts him at 4-5. And then he lost George Kittle, which was a big staple, on his team.
Mhm.
So hopefully he finds someone to fill in for that spot. But yeah, not low hanging fruit would be Timmy.
All right.
Yeah, I can see Timmy. The George Kittle injury came at a really bad time. And being a very integral piece to his team, it hurts a lot. And the Ronald Jones saga is, we're very much back on the is it Fournette time,
Mhm.
or is Arians forgiving of Rojo, and he'll get more than 4 opportunities a quarter. So we'll see how it goes. It's good that he's got Dalvin Cook back, but again, there's a lot of question marks on his team as of today, and it's kind of bad timing when especially nobody has secured a playoff spot, and we're all fighting for it, and it's time to make that push.
Yeah, so Timmy, I think back when Timmy's team was looking really strong, I think Chris Carson, Dalvin Cook, and Rojo all performing at a RB1 level, perennial RB or level. That's
Mm.
just too much. Like his team was too good with George Kittle on top of that. But
Yeah.
thank goodness Rojo has come down because his team was looking really scary if Leonard Fournette didn't get back into the mix.
Absolutely.
2 picks for me, jumping into the playoff picture, would be Chris and Marcus. Chris made a couple big boy trades that we'll get into, but Marcus is getting CMC back, and
Mhm.
I was really hoping Marcus would be closer to Michael's record than he is at 4-4. So 4-4, he's still competitive. He gets CMC back. His team, for the most part, hasn't really changed a lot. So I think Marcus has a pretty strong shot of getting the 6th seed.
Yeah, I agree.
Same here. Those are mine too. So we can just move on from there.
Mhm.
So Ty, Royce, Timmy possibly going out, and then Chris and Marcus coming in, right?
Yes.
All right.
Go ahead.
Shot bets. Go ahead.
Shot bets. O's is we got Michael for 5, which we'll show the clip later. Royce with 7 at the moment, plus another 2 for interest. Was it? 2 is interest for 2 weeks, and then 7
No,
was
no.
the original principal.
One is interest. No, what? So
Oh,
7.
1 is interest.
One interest, and then 3 from this week.
Okay, so he has, what is that?
11 total.
11 total.
He has to pay 8 out at once about though.
Yeah.
So because that's one total bet, and then after that he can pay the other 3 whenever.
All right, and we'll just go briefly over the bets that took place this week. Royce versus Chris, 2 shots. Royce has to take them. Royce lost. T. Higgins versus Boyd versus Ganja. Chris pays 1. Timmy pays 2. And the prop bets. Michael doesn't score 85 points. David and Nick took the under. Chris, Royce, Jonathan took the over. So Chris, Royce, and Jonathan are paying out. And another prop bet. 3.5 teams going 4-4. It hit 4 teams, so nobody pays out on that one. Everybody took the over. So giving us a grand total of Chris owing 4 shots, Royce owing 11 shots, Jonathan owing 1, Timmy owes 2, and I also owe 2 for incorrectly guessing the matchups.
We tied. We had both of us had 4 apiece, so that was one of the higher ones we got. But we still
Yeah.
got your bet. I'm gonna get a head start. Cheers, David.
Oh, yeah, I'll play what's his name? Michael's video.
Michael's team.
Damn, dude, we have to watch Royce drink again. Jesus.
And that's 3 more.
Can you guys see the screen?
David, can you upload Royce's 8 shots separately so that
Yeah, on the side.
the
Bonus
podcast
squad.
can be a little more productive?
Can you guys see Michael's video?
Might
I
be
see
able
it.
to get ads on it.
Alright, I'm gonna play it. Is everybody in my stream?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Okay. Oh,
Good choice in the Jameson, Michael.
Oh, this is a short one.
I love this stuff.
how much does he owe? 5?
A fiver,
I'm
right?
at 3.
With the
He owes
Mickey
5, yeah.
Mouse Cup, too. Does he still work for Disneyland?
Oh, dude. Disneyland canceled him.
Oh, yeah,
he
you're
doesn't.
right.
That one was rough.
Bruh.
Yeah.
I really like critiquing the shot
Someone
cup
wrote a
choices
stern letter.
that everybody uses. Everybody has like different shot cups. He needs the chase. What is this? He's on his third.
He had to grab a chase. Maybe a second. No, maybe his third.
Are you guys a fan of the square shot
I'd
cups? I
be.
really don't like those.
No. I like circle.
They're so weird.
Yeah, I like him.
You like the square?
I kind of like him. Yeah, I don't hate him.
Damn, you guys see that little arm tattoo tease on the side? Show us some more of that, Michael.
You got a tip for that.
That's what happens when you suck at fantasy.
Wait, what was Michael's team's looking rough, dude? He should stop with these shot bets.
He had FOMO, right? This is from
yeah,
from having FOMO.
This is from
That's why
Will
he's got it.
Fuller and Brandon Cooks 1v1. Please, dude.
This one's for my boy Biden.
Oh, all right. That was
Atta baby,
respectable.
atta
What was
baby.
that? 2 minutes? We'll play it through. See if he says anything. All right, I'm glad
Beauty.
I played it through. All right. That was the shot bets. Me and Chris both took our shots, right? Sorry, off screen, just to save time. We have a long podcast going this week. We had some pretty spicy trades going down at the
That's the big
12th
news. That's the
hour.
real news.
Yeah, this is where the meat is, everybody. We'll go quickly through. We'll play grade that trade on this first trade, our first inaugural three-way trade
Yes,
between
sir.
James,
Oh
Chris,
yes.
and Royce. So take us through, James. Take us through the how it came to be and what did the talks look like.
On my end, I only asked for a price check on DJ Moore. And Royce told me that he wanted to package DJ Moore with one of his tight ends, either Jonnu or Mark Andrews, for a wide receiver 2, a high end wide receiver 2. And he looked at my roster and he wasn't interested in anything. And I think I don't remember where it went from there. I just remember he gave me something and I just told him that I had another trade in the works
Mhm.
and that I think it was like Marquise Brown and maybe Backwoods. Oh no, yeah, it was Backwoods. I think it was Backwoods and Marquise Brown for DJ Moore and Jonnu or Mark Andrews. My choice.
Okay.
I said maybe if I have I'm working on another trade, and then the eyes emojis came out when he mentioned I could make this a 3-way.
So it was Royce that was kind of doing the three-way trade, like putting the idea.
Let's be real, you wouldn't trust Royce to broker anything. So I found out that it was Chris who was the third party, and he's the one that actually brokered this.
Okay, Chris, walk us through what was going on in your head. How what were you scheming up in that beautiful
All
brain
right.
of yours?
4D chess. I see you guys on Discord. So I'm like, oh, you guys are playing Valorant. David, Timmy, Royce are playing Valorant. All right, and Nick, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. And I see like, and I'm like, all right. Royce is gonna call Montgomery dog, and is gonna tell him ship his bum ass. I mean, not Royce, but Timmy. Timmy's gonna say that.
Uh-huh.
So I've been trying to get Montgomery because I've been attacking some people with some that need the running back floor, and I can entice them with the juicy matchup. And all week I was trying to package Justin Jackson, because I mean I think he's good and I think he'll have a role, but I just wanted to consolidate like you've been doing, right?
Mhm.
So I'm trying to package Justin Jackson and whatever receiver I can. I've hit up me, I hit up whoever, right? And then Royce was the closest. And we've been in trade talks all week for like John New or Mark Andrews, etc. And I was like, you know what? I really want David Montgomery. I was like, I can package David Montgomery, which you'll see later. And luckily, he's like, I don't want Justin Jackson. But luckily, I was in the right place at the right time. And James, being the Austin Eckler owner, is like, you know what? I'll take Justin Jackson off your hands. So God bless James. And then we kind of broker like, all right, I want to give up these two pieces. I was willing to give up Justin Jackson and T. Higgins just for Montgomery. And for me personally, somehow I got David Montgomery and Hawkinson back. So it was pretty
Nice.
big for me.
Mhm.
And then but let's look at Royce's trades, which we were
Wait,
talking about.
wait. So, did Royce want T. Higgins? Because he has been trying to get Marquise off my hands for about 2 weeks.
He said I like T. Higgins better than Ayuk, and I told him, I said Higgins is not going to help you this week if I deal him to you because he's on a bye, and he still wanted him.
Mm.
So I warned him. I wasn't
Interesting.
trying to fleece him. I said, hey, T. Higgins on a bye. All right, like he's not gonna help this week, but if you want him, I will trade him to you. And then so T. Higgins and Justin
Good
Jackson,
old good cop, bad cop. Good old
Is
good
who-
cop. Chris playing good cop, and then James working the other side playing bad cop. All right.
So we put that together, and he also chose Darnell Henderson over J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, initially I threw up JK because I had a feeling Royce would not like this trade if he didn't get another piece back, most likely a running back. So I think it came down to who's gonna give up a running back. Like, is it gonna be Chris or myself?
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I have Daryl Henderson and JK. To me, it's almost the same thing. JK's arrow is pointing up, even though Ingram should be coming back soon. Um, JK is still very exciting for at least another
Mhm.
week. So I thought he would have bit on JK versus Daryl Henderson, especially because Daryl Henderson's on bye as
He's
well.
banged up and he's on bye.
Yeah, he's bagged up and on bye, and worst case scenario, we're back to a three-way like running back committee. But he wanted Daryl Henderson, and
Yeah.
so who am I to oblige?
Yeah, again, I was in Discord with him, so I'll walk you through what the conversation was like on my end. So out of nowhere, he was like, "Yo, David, tell me what you think of this trade, all right?" and he's like, gives up David Montgomery, um, DJ Moore, and Mark Andrews. Four, and then he was like naming like Marquise Brown, Daryl Henderson, and T. I hear Daryl Henderson, and I like roll my like I'm a Rams fan, and I didn't draft what is his name?
Daryl.
Daryl Henderson.
Darnell.
No, it's white. It's white pronounced white. So Daryl, not
Yeah,
Darrell.
Daryl Henderson. I didn't even draft it, and I'm like, bro, listen, Daryl Henderson is a straight bum. All right. And so he's like, and he was really, and I'm like, and then Timmy chimes in, and Timmy's like, yeah, isn't that fool banged up anyways? And then, and he adds in T Higgins, who's like a waiver wire dude. Like, I mean, like he's been okay, but honestly, he might be the second or third string on the team, which is, whereas DJ
Put some
Moore.
respect on his name, dude. He's nice, dude.
I
Put some
mean,
respect on his name. He's
I
nice.
mean, he's okay, but I mean, DJ Moore, T Higgins, I can't tell the difference between the two pictures. Except DJ
I
Moore.
think
You're
that's fair.
racist too. I think
Yeah.
you're just
No,
racist.
he just doesn't see color. He doesn't see
Yeah,
color.
and so like I told him like okay, so this was before I knew Chris was the trade owner. So I hear the trade in my ear, and I'm like, yo, Royce straight up getting fleeced right now. Cause he gave up Mark Andrews. Like if it was Johnny, like fine, whatever. But you're giving up what Mark Andrews is like a top 5. Even though he's not performing well, you're selling him at his floor. So you're giving
Mhm.
up like a top 5 tight end, which is like a um tight ends don't come around that often, so you can't be giving up that type of position without compensation. And so, but I was like, okay, yeah, that trade sounds pretty fair to me in my head. But in my head, I'm like, yo, that trade is straight garbage. Who are you trading this shit to? All right. And then it came out after the fact that he was trading it to Chris. And I'm like, shit, Chris and James teams are like kind of strong right now. And so if I knew that it was Chris and James, the trade partners, then I would have told him that he got wrecked. But so I did play in on leading him on to make this bad trade because like I'm a
Dude, 4D, I
competitor.
tell you,
Be your own.
Yeah,
I hopped into Discord and I saw you guys. I hopped into Discord and saw you guys like with each other. I'm like, oh, dude, like Timmy's gonna roll right into this,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
He's gonna call all these players dog, and then Royce is
No.
gonna ship them.
Wait, no, yeah, no, dude. I
Yeah.
know David Montgomery's opportunity and rest of season schedule, and I know the value. You can't finesse me, dude. I'm in the know of everybody's trade value, and so I'm like in my head, I'm like, yo, I don't know if you know this, Royce. David Montgomery's gonna pop off right now, but I didn't tell him that. So yeah, Royce straight up got kind of finessed. But we're spending a little bit too much time on this
Yeah.
segment.
Let's go with grades and
Yeah,
maybe one more sentence.
yeah.
So
I'll
we'll
probably
start with
give.
you, David. You're the third party in this.
Yeah, I'd give Royce. I mean, Marquise Brown's decent. T Higgins decent. I can't give Royce too bad of a grade. I'll give him a C also, and I'll give Chris an A because he also spun David Montgomery, and I'll give James also an A because I was talking to this with Jonathan. Royce gave up probably the 3 best players in the trade. Royce gave up Mark Andrews, DJ Moore, and David Montgomery. He gave up the 3 best, and so yeah, I'll give James an A minus and Chris an A. What about you guys?
Go ahead, James. You can go first, James.
I give Royce a C. I don't think he improved his team. To be honest with you, between for instance, between Mark Andrews and Jonathan Smith, I'd take Mark Andrews 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
Understandably, Mark Andrews is underperforming. He's nowhere near what he was last year. But at the same time, Jonathan Smith is losing substantially more work. The better Corey Davis is playing and more integrated into this passing game. DJ Moore, I know I'm basically bought DJ Moore and Mark Andrews at their floors. I had a feeling Royce was pretty tilted when fucking everyone goes in on DJ Moore in prime time last week. So I had a feeling Royce wanted off that ride. And I like DJ Moore. I have a feeling he's gonna turn around in the second half of the season. Same thing with Mark Andrews. I think they're going to turn around the second half. I imagine Baltimore is a playoff team, and if they're a playoff team, their schedule starts easing up a little bit after the next, I think, 2 weeks. So I can't imagine them winning without Mark Andrews being involved. And with that said, the pieces that Royce got back, Darrell Henderson, he's banged up. Does that change Sean McVay's opinion of him? Darrell Henderson wasn't the most exciting Rams running back. He was the Rams running back, but he wasn't the most exciting. So I could part ways with him, no problem. Marquise, boom bust, just like DJ Moore. But I have a feeling DJ Moore has a little bit more floor. And then T. Higgins, I think T. Higgins is the best piece that Royce got out of this trade. Mm-hmm. But I think he gave up way too much. And then I give Chris an A. I think, like you said, getting a tight end, if you don't have a top 5 tight end with a solid floor, you basically have, 3 catches, 40 yards, and you're praying for a touchdown. Because tight ends 6 through 22, that's all that's pretty much what you're banking on. 4 catches, 40 yards, maybe a touchdown.
All right. I thought he gave up too much and he traded for a bye week. So we'll see. If he wins, then it works out in the end because I trade next week kind of thing. When they're not all in bye. I give James an A as well. I thought he improved at tight end. I think Mark Andrews is better than T.J. Hawkinson, more or less. He gets Justin Jackson, which is really good, and it's the handcuff to Austin Eckler. And DJ Moore, he's buying at the lowest. His talent's good. We'll see what they do game planning wise. And I give myself an A just because I was willing to trade only for these pieces, only for David Montgomery, and I somehow got, in my opinion, a top 5 tight end back.
Okay.
Okay, so wrap this up real quick. If Royce had gotten J.K. Dobbins instead of Darrell Henderson, would this change your grade a little bit?
I personally like J.K. Dobbins more than Darrell Henderson because partly and because of Mark Ingram's tweet of when he says they switch up on you so fast, and Mark Ingram's in the locker room, so he knows what's going on, and so he probably sees that the coaches are favoring Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins more than, so I would like, because of the unknown potential of J.K. rather than the known potential of Darrell Henderson. So yeah, so that's why I would pick. He has more upside, is what I'm saying. And the next trade, really quickly, I think everybody in this room knows about this trade. Stephon Diggs, David Montgomery for Devontae Adams.
Oh my god!
Which is a straight up robbery, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
That's
know,
cap.
I know.
That's cap.
We
I
should
know,
have
I've
just
been-
we should just
Dude.
lock Yi's roster and just play with 11 teams, in my opinion, and because this trade is straight garbo. Go ahead.
Dude, I know I joke around a lot, but this is legit. Like, the only evidence you need to know that me is just dirty griefing, like just straight up griefing 10 of us, because Chris didn't get griefed; he got fucking blessed. So, like, being a league commissioner is hard. Like, you think this shit's easy, you just fucking push a trade through, but this is the one that I had to stare at. Like, I had to go take up my 15-minute smoke break to stare at this thing and ask myself, like, do I morally push this one through?
This is so all right.
All right, let me give you my thought process. I approach him, right. I had a conversation. Oh, we'll talk about that conversation later. That I know David had too. But I was like, Nies has been having a rough time with running backs. All right. So I personally have a trade chart. To be honest, I have everyone's roster up and have your needs and did you come off a loss? Are you tilted, etc. So and this is my process. I'm like, Nee's 1-7. I don't have to see him again. So I'll give up Diggs, which is getting 10 targets a game, is the number one option. And it's wide receiver one, right? Like a different tier, but a wide receiver one. And you know what? His running back floor has been hurt the last couple weeks. So you know what? Like I'll give you a running back 2 kind of floor with a better schedule, which trying to sell the narrative on top of this wide receiver 1 getting 10 targets, and I get Devontae Adams. And like unfortunately, like yes, I had like if I didn't have like such strong like running backs or a team, like no one would be saying anything, you know? They'd be like, oh well, you're griefing because you gave away your running back 2 for, a slight upgrade at wide receiver 1.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I mean, for Stefan Diggs and David Montgomery, like, okay, I'm pretty sure me, James, and Chris all know David Montgomery's value in the future is going to rise. Can we all agree
Yes.
on that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm pretty sure Yi knows that. But just because the perceived value in the future is projected to rise doesn't mean you need to pay at the projected value. Everybody knows right now David Montgomery is a straight bum right now. So I don't understand why Yi paid up for the perceived value of David Montgomery's rising when, like, let's say Dave Montgomery's been a bum for the past 9 games. You can't argue that, right? So that's probably where his value should be right now with upside. And Stefan Diggs, like, you can't give up Devontae Adams, who's like a top 5 wide receiver for Stefan Diggs, because
Top 2.
right
Yeah.
now top 2 wide receiver for Stefan Diggs. Like, you can go on, what is he giving you, like 15 points, 16 points a game? You can go on the waiver
Yeah.
wire, go get like Marvin Jones, go get like McCole Hardman for the shot at 15 points a game, and keep Devontae Adams. Like, you'd have to rotate in different wide receivers every week for like the 12 to 14 points that Stefan Diggs gives you, and you get to keep Devontae Adams. In my opinion, is like it'd be hard to find those wide receivers that score like 14 points a game, but it's like doable. They're on the waiver wire like all the time. So and you get to keep Devontae Adams is my opinion about this trade.
Yeah. Well, all right. This trade is poo poo. Let's get to the next one, dude. The next one's a lot more exciting.
Grades really quick. Grades really quick.
Chris A, Knee F.
Yeah, F, Chris A, dude.
Dude, I'm giving both of us an A because I think it's a slight downgrade.
Stop the cap.
The cap. Cancel the cap.
Stop the cap.
It's a slight
Please,
upgrade
please
at
stop.
at
No.
running back. No, it's a slight downgrade at wide
Alright,
receiver
David, stop
and an
recording.
upgrade at
Stop.
All right, whatever. Anyways, the next
No
trade.
podcast this week, guys.
Next trade slightly more exciting, slightly more ambiguous.
All right, let me the roast here, which was very, very vague, which I didn't understand, was David had to do that trade because he was going to lose that to tie, but it was a tie. It's to lose to who are you playing this week?
I'm playing Marcus.
I think Marcus.
Mhm.
Marcus with all those buys, which honestly, that makes sense because if you make that trade, you're being a good manager. So I didn't feel like that was a roast. How do you feel about that, James?
I think that's just smooth brain talking. Yeah, that's just a rock someone
Alright,
threw up from the shadow from the the toilet realm.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you.
I like this trade personally. I like this trade. I like this trade more than the three-way trade that we made.
same here.
Yeah, I'll peel
Same
back.
here.
I'll peel back the curtain a little bit into my thought process behind this. I have Ezekiel Elliott right playing against Pittsburgh. In all honesty, I was gonna bench him this week, right? But but I slid him into my starting lineup because I didn't want to see. I didn't want when people are looking at my roster to see that because
He's being devalued.
I was
Yeah.
actively trying to ship Ezekiel Elliott this week. I've sent out offers to multiple managers, and so I slid him into my lineup, even though in my head I was gonna bench him for Antonio Gibson this week to increase his value. He was playing Pittsburgh, so I had no way I'm gonna play him into that. And he has a bye next week, so that's 2 weeks of buys. So like I would have 2 weeks of buys playing against Ty when I just have a bye this week, and then I play Ty next week. And also I think I could beat Ty without making the trade also. So that doesn't really make any sense. But what do you guys think of the trade before I get into the meat of the discussion?
I thought it was a pretty fair trade. I like the pieces that were exchanged. Right now I have Ezekiel Elliott pretty low in my personal like rankings. He's the way this offense is looking right now, right? Pretty beat up offensive line, quarterback roulette. Um, and he's been putting up what less than 8 points a week. I had him, I had him like in the low teens, like 19 or 18,
Mm-hmm.
and like he has a pretty shit matchup, and he has a bye next week. So personally, if I had Zeke, I wouldn't want anything to do with him, especially if you got to put everything in context, right? Like you're not you're not looking at 8-0 right now. You're trying to make a playoff push as well, so you gotta be trading for wins right now. And I think Jonathan has a good gauge on what Dallas's outlook looks like though, because I know for a fact like their O line is starting to get healthier
Yeah,
again. Like Zach
that's true.
Martin should be coming back pretty soon, and like there is a chance that Zeke Elliott gets back to where he should be after their buys. Antonio Gibson has really nice matchups the next 3 weeks, and Will Fuller is the best game in town. Alexander Madison, the meme is only as good as him being on your team, David. But other than that, like like what you're getting in return, you're getting Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen is top 12 every week, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You get the Philadelphia starting running back, whether it's Boston Scott for the next couple weeks until Sanders gets injured or Sanders gets healthy again, and then swap them, and Sanders is back to starting. And I really like Philadelphia's schedule coming up, and I feel like they're going to be the playoff team coming out of that division. But they don't make it unless they start winning, and so I think that their schedule is very helpful. Really soft matchups coming up, so they should be winning out. And those two, one or both of those running backs will be involved one way or another. Matt Breida, I'm not too much of a fan of. I've had Matt Breida in the past when he was on the Niners. I had drafted Matt Breida this year, thinking he was the sneaky, you know, starting running back for the Dolphins. But I personally don't like Matt Breida. He's too boomer bust to be for you to start on a weekly basis. He might be like Gaskin's banged up, but so is he. And Matt Breida is always one run away from like some type of lower leg injury. So for Breida and Madison, it's kind of a wash. But I really like Thielen, and I really like Philly's upcoming schedule for running backs. But on Jonathan's side as well, I really like the pieces he's getting back.
I agree with James. My thing is I really enjoy Matt Breida, and dude, I Thielen's a division rival, so I've been watching him. I don't get how he does it, but he's always open. So I think Will Fuller has nice matchups, and the Thielen is just a magician on the field when it comes to route running. So overall, I think they're both great trades. Grading it, I give them both A's. I think they both fit certain needs, and hopefully they produce wins this week.
Yeah, touching off the Matt Breida topic a little bit, James. So I'm trading out Zeke and Antonio Gibson's. I got no running backs to start this weekend.
Hmm.
Miles Sanders comes back off by. I start him off by with running 3 wide receivers in the flex, and so
Hmm.
really what I needed was originally the offer was Kenyon Drake instead of Matt Breida, but then I noticed that I only literally have one starting running back, and I need a roster. I need to start two, and that's where Matt Breida the trade comes into play because I need to play someone for this week and potentially next week. What the fuck was that?
You see
But
that wild Manny?
yeah. Anyway, so I'm probably gonna drop Matt Breida after 2 or 3 weeks if I'm being honest. But I need I'm, but if I'm being honest, I need to start someone this week, and that's why Matt Breida is in the trade. It's not the long term value I'm seeing. It's the win. I'm
Yeah,
buying for wins.
you need to fill the roster for this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and again, originally it was Zeke for Miles Sanders heads up. Um, it was Zeke for Miles Sanders, and I said no to that, even though Zeke I think is lower than Miles Sanders. Again, the perceived Zeke has name brand to him over Miles Sanders. And so even
Absolutely.
though it would have been a good 1-for-1 trade with me, the name brand itself increased Zeke's um market value. And so I said no to that trade because I know I could get more from off of Zeke because of the name itself rather than the skill is my thought process. But I do think we both help each other. He gives me upside and I give him floor, what he desperately needs. And so yeah, so I give us both A's. We'll go into the trading block really
All right,
quickly.
really quick. Do you guys want to do trading block or the game? Because what, David, can you check what time we're at?
We're at
Because
40
we're kind of
minutes.
we're running pretty long. You want to?
Yeah,
Let's do trading block. Let's skip the game.
uh, uh should we we can always roll trading block over. I think that the game is really in the season of
Okay,
winning.
okay, okay. All right,
In
all right. So let's roll the trading block over to next week, and then let's do the game. Is that
Yeah,
cool?
yeah. We'll have time. We'll hit it. We'll hit the trading block at the end if we have time. How about that?
Okay.
All right.
So, the game this week is back to the great debate because it's a very close race between the presidential candidates right now. So, all three of us are going to answer these questions. We all get 1 minute, about 1 minute, and we are going to answer fantasy football specific questions. You guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, on the fantasy football economy, you're a fantasy manager that needs to run the table and you have a fab deficit, such as Michael. I said 33 fab in week 9, but turns out it's 18 right now after tonight. So, what would you do to right the ship towards the booty? You have a losing record on top of um, being a deficit. Let's go with David. What do you think?
Michael having 18 fab in week 9. I think he's pretty much out of the booty race. So he's playing for the not toilet race. Right now. So, in my opinion, what he needs is he's not gonna get any more pieces with 18 fab. He's just I would spend up on defenses and kickers because kickers low key be kind of nice when they hit. Like was it 15 points against other
Sneaky 12 plus. Yeah.
yeah, sneaky 12 to 15 against like someone who's not paying attention, 5 points. What was it, 10-point difference? So I would be leveraging the rest of my money towards defenses and kickers. Because you notice I've been winning pretty much any kicker and any defense I want because I value them more. That's which is why I put like $9 or like $4 on the kickers, and everybody else doesn't value them as highly as I do. Put in $0 bids, put in $1 bids. They're never gonna win against me. So I would put the rest of my money into kickers and defense.
I've been in this situation before. And when you're at the bottom of the when you're at the bottom of the league, you don't have one hole. You have multiple holes on your roster. Either injuries, people not performing well, things like that. But what you do have are those 1 to 3 pieces that are pretty nice and that people really value. And at this point, if you have that many holes in your roster, you need to start trading for depth. Get some maybe not exciting players, but some rock solid floor because you're probably losing. It's a culmination of many things: deficits, positions not playing well, and you probably have a boom bust player mixed in somewhere that's really busting. So trade for depth, trade away your blue chip stocks, get back some floor, and go out and find depreciating like a player that's depreciating in value somewhere else. Like you gotta find someone who you can buy low on that has the potential to blow up. Last year, Joe Mixon, right? Joe Mixon was a bum for the first half of the year, and it just takes you asking that Joe Mixon, like Royce. It took me asking Royce, "Hey, how much for Joe Mixon?" And I found out that like Royce was dying to have Joe Mixon off his roster. So you can buy low on on some pretty nice pieces that hopefully blow up, and you can right the ship from there.
Chris.
Uh, to be honest, I agree with what James said. I would also say that he needed to make more moves. When it comes down to it, he's made one trade this year, and he has too many holes in his team, and that's just kind of my take on it.
Yeah, he made one trade this year, and it was for Michael Thomas, and he hasn't been able to play Michael Thomas since
Yeah,
he's traded him.
Yeah.
So,
that
Mi-
that kind of lost him
Mhm.
the season pretty much.
at first we were talking about how could you trade Michael Thomas trade Michael Thomas for so little, but right now
Yeah.
Ty is sitting pretty, and Michael is at the
Yeah.
bottom. So I mean,
Yeah.
it was a good trade by Ty then, and we
Yeah.
were totally wrong. So again, with these trades, you really never know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. Our second question is on interleague relations. How do you feel about this statement? You should always say good luck before a match and GG after a match out of respect for our league mates. Do you
Sorry,
agree with
Chris.
it? Do you not agree with it? All right. That's just how I roll. Personally, that's my temperament. I feel like this is supposed to be a fun thing for all of us. I'm gonna say good luck to you. I'm gonna say GG's whether it's win or loss. I think it brings good karma back, and I think it just brings a more invitive. I don't know if I made a word. Environment for the league. What do you think, James?
I think you should always say your good lucks and your GGs. I think it's good sportsmanship. It shows I have respect for you, and in turn, you have respect for me. If that's reciprocated, and I think it goes a long way. It's like one of those things that like you don't realize the value of until you don't have it, right? When someone doesn't say good luck to you, then the next thing you say is, "All right, good luck, such and such. Go fuck yourself."
Mhm. Yeah, I'll
And
take.
then
Oh, good.
yeah,
Finish it.
no, that's it. That's it.
I'll take the flip side on that because me personally, I don't really hand out good lucks and I don't hand out GGs. Like, I'm fine if you good luck me, then I'll good luck you back. Or if you GG me, I'll GG you back. But I'll never be the first one to say good luck or GG because in season, I mean, it's the same as always. I'm fighting for the chip, right? So in the season, if you ain't wearing the same jersey as me, we ain't friends. And so that's how I view it. But I don't really say GG's and I don't say good luck, so I'm like neutral about that. But I'll reciprocate if you want. But I wouldn't be the first one to say it, which is it's fine. It's just uh I'm just not in the season. I'm just trying to win, so that's my 2 cents about it.
All
And,
right. Go ahead. You want to finish that?
yeah, and I know there's been some talk amongst the league about only saying GG when you win, but not saying GG when you lose, which is I don't know. That's kind of BM because it's like, of course, like if you're like me and you don't say it at all, that's fine. But if you say you only say it when you win and other people catch on to that, then you're just like a sore loser, to be honest, right? So
Yep.
that's what I think about that.
All right. With some new people in the league, true or false? There should be a separation of church and fantasy football, and there are no booty gods.
Mhm.
What do you think, James?
I think there should be a separation between church and fantasy football. You pray to your own gods, but there's no such thing as fantasy gods or booty gods. There's only booty.
All right. I'll also I know Chris. I'll let him answer last because I know he's a little bit more
A man of faith.
religious. Yeah, man of faith than us. Who me and James have been through some stuff, so we've gone through some stuff that has made us this way in our life, and so I also think there should be don't get it twisted. All right, they ain't no booty podcast curse. The only thing there is your roster sucking. All right, so don't blame it on the booty podcast. And so I don't think there's fantasy gods because fantasy gods wouldn't have let the 101 pick in the 2017 draft sit out for a whole year. All right, in Le'Veon Bell. So there's no fantasy gods. So I hate to break it to you.
All right.
101.
I won my I won my ship believing in the fantasy gods, and I have not given up since. Just like how religion shapes your life, just like Amy Cohen Barrett kind of thing. It shapes myself into my job being this booty podcast analyst and booty competitor, and I think you should put some respect on the booty gods. So I think false.
They have
All right.
forgotten you, Chris. When's the last time you ate? They've forgotten you.
Dude, I will fast until they feed me. I will fast until they feed me.
Wasn't it some dude like was walking in the desert and then God's like, and like on like the 30th day, God's like, here's some food. My Bible knowledge may be a little bit rusty, but it went like some dude was walking in the desert and he's like, God's like, here's some food after like 60 days.
Don't ask me. That's the wrong book,
So-
by the
so-
way.
so
You're
Chris-
reading the wrong book.
So Chris is at like day 40 in the desert right now. Dude. No end in
Dude,
sight.
I'm about to eat. You're about to call me the prophet.
All right.
All right. We all know that as much as you want to booty, the booty chooses you. Why are you the best? I was hoping Vin was here. Our other guest, Vin, was supposed to be on here, but why are you the best candidate for the booty?
Let's have our reigning toilet answer that one because he's got the longest
Why
journey.
am I the best? Why am I the choice? The booty chooses you. It's because I'm the chosen one this year. Since birth, I was destined to win the seventh.
The toilet chooses you perennially.
No, you.
No, that was just bad luck. That's why I don't believe in the fantasy gods. But this year, I have a real shot at getting it, and I just know that this year will be the year because it's what's written into the prophecies. So sucks for you guys.
James, what do you think?
Like I said before, there's no such thing as fantasy gods or booty gods. There's only booty. So I built a little shrine for this thing. I pray to it every day. I kiss it goodnight every night. You know, because it's gonna be here for a long while. It's here to stay. So I've been taking care of it.
All right.
It's not enough. You're gonna pin me to it by the time we're done, dude. Steve. You're gonna pin me to this shit.
Pin you to the.
I'm the fucking prophet.
All
All
right.
right, but I'm the best candidate because unlike David being chosen by the toilet, I believe in these gods, and I feel them choosing me. Like David says, "quote I feel it in my bones." Unquote.
But then I lost that week, so So I don't know if you should be listening to your bones.
All right,
Anyway,
let's go.
yeah.
Moving on. Uh, this last week recap. David and I ended up 4-4. The
Uh-huh.
only matchup we differed on was Timmy and Vin, and I chose Timmy, and Nick versus David, and David chose himself. So went even. We took our shots for that already.
Yep.
Let's keep going to this week's rankings. Quick tips takes. James rises from 8 from power ranking 8 to 3. The biggest slide is Nick from 3 to 7. And 3 to 8 is honestly really close. All have a power ranking score of 5, between 5.1 and 5.8 or something like that.
Mhm.
Thoughts, takes.
It was really surprising to see James jump up from 8 to 3 because he only traded away. I don't know if these came before or after the trade, but he only traded away like he got back like decent pieces, but I wouldn't say it's a game changer to put him up 5 spots. But and that's my thoughts about James jumping up. I think it should have been like around 4 or 5, to be honest. I'm not too sure what went into that thought process. If you could fill me in, James. But and Nick sliding from 3 to 7, I think that was a long time coming. Like if you just look at his wide receiver core and his running back core, like it was just he was just buying wins, I think, but long-term value of his roster is decreasing every week. So
I'm pretty surprised jumping up so sharply from 8 to 3 in 1 week. When I plug this into the Excel sheet, it does all the calculations and the formulations. The only thing I really enter into that sheet is the scores, which you all see, and then a tally of who won and who lost, and a perceived rest of season roster strength, not by me, but by this other resource that's connected with. And so it crunches the numbers, pushes them out. And I think the result of me having such a high jump was more of a culmination of people dropping. I think, like, even I feel uncomfortable jumping up to 3. I think I'm more around 5. I don't believe in like very sharp spikes without some like big time tragedies happening. And I think the teams that I've leapfrogged, they didn't have anything too tragic happen to them.
except for
I think it's
Royce.
just, except for Royce. But I think it's just a culmination of everyone jumping down a couple pegs,
Uh-huh.
and me just being the benefactor of math. So
Yeah. Any thoughts about
All right.
Chris? Any thoughts about Nick or James?
Um, we were gonna attack it earlier in the trading block, but I'm not a big fan of Nick's rest of season roster, to be honest. Like Kamara's kind of carrying his team. He's gonna lose on Mike Davis value.
Hmm.
Besides being a handcuff more or less, I don't think he's gonna be startable if Christian McCaffrey comes back. Um, so I see that slide. I kind of saw that slide coming. Um, but he still has Kamara, so you can't count him out. Um, I can see James. James has been making some nice trades that benefit his team, and he's been getting these wins. So I can see him being anywhere between 3 and 5. So this, 5.07, 5.14, 5.19 between 4, 5, 6. So it's all really close and all relative, anyways.
Uh,
3, 4, 5.
about Nick's roster. Tell me if you guys agree with this, but uh, after losing Dak Prescott and Godwin is where he really showed that he was a rookie because like you can have Dak for like 35 points and Kamara for another 30 points a week and just win like that, but he's not really showing anything when he's been faced with adversity because that's
Absolutely.
when the veteran like James really shows up or like Chris spinning his roster. That's when the real veterans and their veteran knowledge comes into play when you face that adversity and what you can spin. And I don't think Nick has been doing anything to help his situation in the running back game or the quarterback game. So and
I
Godwin has AB. coming in and muddying it. So the window where Godwin is like a top tier wide receiver, I feel like is over.
Yeah, I mean that's the hard part for Nick, right? If this is like his real first serious like league, he's already kind of behind the ball because 11 of us have already been playing for so long. Because I'm pretty sure Jonathan has been playing for a while too. It shows in his record, it shows in the moves he makes. So I'm pretty sure this is not his first time either. So I think unfortunately for Nick, he came into a very hard league to for his rookie, season. Um, and it's hard for someone to realize that there are certain windows um, in value that are closing when there's so many things going on during the year, right? It's hard to sit down and realize like, oh, Chris Godwin is hurt or Dak Prescott is hurt. How many points and opportunities do I have to make up from that absence? And then so figuring out the problems is one thing, but then finding the solutions is the even harder part.
Yeah.
Trades have never been this easy in the past, but at the same time they're not easy still. Like there's still a lot of whining and dining that needs to be done. There's still a lot of timing that has to be taken into account because people's rosters and their situations change throughout the year. So it's a lot to ingest and process at one time.
Yeah.
So seeing this slide isn't surprising. But it's how he gets better. It's the first step to getting better for him is realizing that like, when do I start digging my heels in and start making moves, and where can I make them?
Yeah, and like I gave him a free lesson last night, 2 nights ago. I was like, yo, when you put Derek Carr in your lineup, I was like super happy about that because I'm pretty sure all of us knew the weather was gonna be terrible and nobody was gonna throw that ball downfield, right? So I gave him a free lesson. I'm like, hey, you should probably check the weather report because football is a game that sometimes is played in the goddamn snow or in a hurricane. So I'm like, in during this time of year, you should probably like you don't really consider that stuff in your rookie year. It's more like the vets knowing the situation. So I think Nick has a lot to learn this year for next year.
For sure. And our we question produced by a listener is James a sneaky number one seed? Look at his remaining schedule: Timmy, dog team; Michael, lol; Royce, trade rate victim; Vintook, sorry; and David, sent him to the toilet. What do you guys think about this statement? James can go last. David, what do you think?
I think I think Michael and was it Royce are free wins for James? Yes, but I think Timmy, myself, and Vin are all hard wins. You need to score at least like 105
Shit.
points or more to even have a sniff of winning any of those matchups, and scoring like more than 105, 110 each week is like pretty tough to do. It was easier to do in the beginning of the season, but I see like more teams averaging back down to the top, the to points you would imagine in a 12-man league now. And so let's say if James is lucky, he wins Michael and Royce, and um, wins maybe 2 out of the rest between me, Timmy, and Vin. So was that give him 4 wins? Puts him up
Yeah,
to
9 and
nine
4.
and five, which might not be enough for a
Number
number
one.
one seed. So
Okay.
that's my 2 cents.
I mean, if we're talking long term, I think James has been making enough moves. If we're gonna have, I think we have a prop bet later, and I think there's gonna be more moves to be made. Um, so I can see James being a sneaky number one because 9 and 5 is number one seed in the power rankings at least. Coming in, I think James can average 105 a week, and 105 to 110 is all he needs. Like, I'm not sure about James's ceiling, but I think James leaves a week happy if he can score between 105 and 110 because I think um, scoring is going to come down from the beginning, 1 to 5, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I see James being I think James is a top 3 team. I would sell if I had to sell on a number one seed. I would probably sell a number one seed. James, what do you think?
I don't think. I think I'm maybe 1 or 2 moves away from being a number 1 seed. I think a lot has to break my way because I think from from my perspective, I think Jonathan and David's teams I would have more confidence in those kind of rosters compared to my roster. Um, and so I think I need a couple things breaking my way on top of a couple more moves to be legitimately number 1.
Mm.
Um, I think that's my 2 cents. Like this spike from this jump from 8 to 3. I don't. I'm not particularly buying into it too much either. Um, I think a rise to like maybe 5 or 6 would have been a lot more easy to swallow.
For sure. All right, that was a lot. I feel like we're like almost an hour in. We haven't gone to
Yeah.
predictions yet. You guys need a shot to go. How you guys feeling?
Yeah. We'll move quickly through the predictions. Try to not try not to touch to get into too many side conversations.
Yeah,
Should we
let's jump in. Let's jump into
yeah,
predictions.
jump in.
We got David versus Marcus. Let's start with James. How do you feel about this game?
Um, I think I think the biggest like question on everyone's mind is CMC coming back? You know, um, I don't think I think if he starts this week, he's 100% healthy. He is good to go. I think CMC is too valuable of a piece of that team to be rolling out there at 70 to 80%. You know, if they are serious about winning, or like trying to make the playoffs, then I can see them rolling out 70 at him kind of hobbled, but I can't imagine like he is such an integral piece of this offense. I think he goes when he's 100%. And if he does go, I think Marcus wins this one. But as of right now, I have David's winning.
Okay, so you have me winning conditionally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same with me. The biggest question, same thing. CMC. I think the trade was a great move because Thielen and if Breda is playing, they're both favorable matchups because Breda will be the clear starter in my opinion. The otherwise, if CMC isn't playing, Marcus has some pretty rough running back matchups, but his wide receivers are favorable. I have Marcus winning the pending CMC, but if I going back into our podcast and doing our head-to-head rankings, I'm gonna go with Marcus winning this week.
Alright.
I have CMC coming back and Marcus winning this week.
Okay. CMC might also come back. I really hope not. But I'm planning for him coming back. But I still have myself winning because DK Metcalf coming off of an absolute nuclear game. I think I see most people coming off of big games tend to not do so well the next game. I don't know if it's like a hangover or what, or they're sore or what, or Tyler Lockett's like, or it becomes a more even distribution. But I don't think DK Metcalf. I'm willing to shotgun bet Chris on this shotgun bet here. DK Metcalf doesn't score more than 10 points.
You're taking the under.
I'm taking the under that DK Metcalf.
Wow.
I'll take the over. Easy.
What a
Easy,
line.
easy over, but that's how Vegas makes money. So yeah,
What
I
a
don't
line.
think DK Metcalf scores more than 10 points this week, and I think with the upgrade at wide receiver and Matt Breida hopefully playing, I have myself squeaking out a victory.
I definitely think it's close. My big thing, just to touch on what you're saying, is I feel like Seattle, like coming off a game, like the defense. I feel like this is how the DC comes into the room. They go, "All right, Tyler Lockett had a big game. We're gonna cover the slot." Or DK Metcalf had a big game. We're gonna cover the
Yeah.
X. So I feel like that's just how it goes in that defensive game planning room. All right, move on to the next matchup. We got Vin versus Jonathan. David, how do you feel about that? Vin versus Jonathan.
I mean, this is a hard one. I see Jonathan winning. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are both not doing too well, so I see that as a wash. And Jonathan making moves to really up his running back floor. I see him and Gibson in a favorable matchup, and Zeke was I giving you like maybe hopefully 10 points this week. Will give Jonathan enough floor for his wide receivers to really boom this week. I see the key matchup here because Vintook really has all floor players like AJ Brown, Sterling Shepard, Cole Beasley, all floor players. They can give you can just write them down for 11 points this week. What he really needs is Travis Kelsey to be the boom behind his roster. And if Travis Kelsey booms, I see Vin having a good shot at winning this week, but um, counting on that is kind of tough. So I have Jonathan winning.
All
Yeah,
right, I'll
looking
go
at,
next.
you want
Oh,
to go next?
go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, looking at Vintook's roster, I know the floor is there, but you can't beat Jonathan with just floor play. I especially after the moves he made, Jonathan has raised his floor in my opinion. So I think having the floor alone is not enough to beat Jonathan. Um, and I think Vintook will make this competitive. Like again, his wide receiver core, you can pretty much chalk up 11 plus points. But it's that plus that Vintook really needs. He needs each of them to score a touchdown, and they're capable of doing it. Sterling Shepard is probably the best. I think the best wide receiver on that team. Cole Beasley. well, Cole Beasley gets a lot of work. He's pretty underrated. He could sneak in a touchdown and probably the shootout of the week. And AJ Brown's the number one receiver on that team. He's gonna get his. Um, and on Jonathan's side, he really needs Antonio Gibson in a good matchup to do the heavy lifting with Zeke in a really poor matchup. It is doable. The Ravens running backs as a whole did really well against Pittsburgh's defense, but Dallas's offensive outlook is pales in comparison to what um, Baltimore's rolling out on the field right now. So
And we lost
hopefully,
Chris.
oh rip.
All right,
So
good.
hopefully, Vintook gets some ceiling play out of his wide receivers, but I have a feeling Jonathan might squeak this one out.
Yeah, Chris.
All right, sorry, I had to hop into on my computer, so no webcam. I missed a lot of what James said, so sorry if I repeat myself. I'm just gonna lean Jonathan. I think Josh Allen has a better matchup than Lamar. Antonio Gibson's gonna be helpful. I agree with the usage. I think it goes up, and then but he has Zeke versus Pittsburgh. Running back matchups are good, but I don't trust any Patriots running back.
Yeah.
Um, and then matchups to make a difference for me is Kelsey as well, and the flex Cole Beasley versus Tyler Lockett. And then like I said, is it a Lockett or Metcalf week from earlier?
Yep. James versus Timmy. We'll let James go last. I'll go ahead and go first. James versus Timmy. I think Timmy will win. Um, I mean, Timmy. Hopefully, Timmy gets back Chris Carson this week because that will really help his floor. Um, I see freaking wasn't Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry are pretty much a wash. So the difference here will be Chris Carson versus Damon Harris, which is if Chris Carson doesn't play, then I think James is looking really good because going to the wide receivers. I feel like Amari Cooper and Juju Smith Schuster is a wash because Amari Cooper is like in a bad situation, and Juju has fallen out of favor with Ben Roethlisberger for whatever reason. So they'll both probably put up like 8 points this week. So it's a wash, and the difference here is Chris Carson playing, and Damian Harris, who is trending upwards. I think. Chris.
All right. I have James winning, so this is one of the matchup that the hosts are differing on. James made some great moves this week. I think Dalvin Cook provides some upside, but I think Amari's gonna have pretty rough quarterback play for Timmy, and no Kittle will hurt Timmy's ceiling. And I think James has a really juicy Justin Jackson versus Las Vegas matchup, which should help out.
Against his boys.
It's gonna be a shootout.
And look for Jameson Crowder because I think New England does pretty poor in the slot. So we'll see if Jameson Crowder can help Timmy out for that.
Yeah, I have myself obviously winning. But I think this will be a really close match if Timmy's questionable players are actually playing. I know Chris Carson was kind of a 50-50 to play last week, so he's not practicing today. They're saying that he's not practicing tomorrow. So if Friday goes well and Chris Carson is in, he has a pretty good matchup. I'll admit. Dalvin Cook, I've already stashed 25 points for Timmy away. I don't think the 40-point lightning strikes twice, but I think Dalvin
It
Cook
might
is
strike his ACL actually.
You know, it's like that.
And then Jameson Crowder is also injured. So if Timmy has to reach into his bench, it starts looking pretty dire. Um, so if Timmy's questionable players actually play, I think this would be pretty close. I think this might be the highest scoring matchup on the week.
Oh.
But as of right now, I got myself winning
All right.
confidently.
Nick versus Yi is our next matchup. I have Nick winning. Yi's team got a lot weaker. Again, I don't want to harp on Yi's trade so much, but I think he could have kept Devontae Adams and found. He has the most money out of everybody, so he could go to the waiver wire and just get every week's running back rental for that week. Like next week could be maybe Cam Akers. This week could have been Breida if he bidded for him. And honestly, they might give you the same production as David Montgomery has already been giving you. And so he has a lot of money that he could spend on good players that he could keep Devonte Adams with, but I don't want to harp on that too much. So I have Nick winning.
Want me to go next?
Yeah, go ahead, James.
I have Nick winning. Knees griefing aside, I think Nick has a lot more favorable matchups. I know Knee added depth to his team, but the 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 really core strength of Knee's team used to be this disgusting Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, 3 touchdowns every single week stack. So Knee was benefiting off of 6 touchdowns each of the last 2-3 weeks, and it's made him competitive enough to actually get a win. And for Chris to somehow break that up, I don't think the two pieces he gets back will be able to match Devontae Adams' production. You can harp about like 3 touchdowns a week is unsustainable for Devontae Adams, but they don't have a run game as of right now, a healthy run game, and they don't have very many like healthy wide receivers outside of what MVS, who's a bum, ESB, who's also a bum. So it legitimately is the Aaron Rodgers Devontae Adams show, and they have a pretty decent matchup against San Francisco,
Right.
but whatever, Devontae Adams not on his team anymore. I'm gonna take Nick on this one.
Really quick before you go, Chris, I didn't realize this until James said it, but Chris has maybe a silver lining for Chris's super team. Chris has both Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams eating at each other's production,
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
might be kind of good for us now because if he didn't have Aaron Jones and he had like a similar player like Dalvin Cook, I would be like scared. But they do have each other cannibalizing each other, which might be our only hope at beating Chris's team. So, any thoughts about that, Chris?
Um, I do feel like I kept my sing, but I think they're the two because Green Bay didn't trade for anyone. I think those are the two best playmakers in the team. So if
Hey,
I can see 40 points between the two of them being split up, and I'm okay with that.
okay. Hey, don't
Yeah.
forget about Lazard coming back. All right, my boy.
Yeah. Honestly, he's kind of nice. Like, and I'm okay with that.
All right.
For me, I think this matchup's a lot spicier. Like, harping on that trade. Like, I know you guys are giving me an F. Like, I think this one's a lot closer than you guys think. I think he's making a move for 2 usable pieces. Because he hasn't had a good floor at the running back position, and I think a guaranteed like countering David's argument. I think getting a guaranteed 20 touches is better than anyone on the waiver wire. And then he still gets a solid wide receiver one. Yeah, the ceiling's not as high, but it's still the most targeted, and they get a pretty weak I think Tennessee defense this week. So
Okay.
Seattle defense. So Seattle's giving a lot of points up to the wide receiver. So I see it as a great matchup this week. Melvin Gordon's kind of sus. Slane has a tough matchup, and if you can find a startable tight end, I think it does come down to this flex play. Like, does Godwin play, and how does CeeDee Lamb play with this new quarterback? Which honestly, I don't agree with, because it's a pretty sorry quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys either way. So and I don't think Godwin comes back this week because he still had cast on his hands. So we'll see how the flex plays out. But I think he made a good trade to get a dub this week.
Okay. Ty versus Royce. Why don't you start us off, James? Go ahead, James.
So Roy's fresh off of this threesome. I don't think I don't know if you guys agree with this or not, but there's no way Royce buys 2 bye week players without thinking he has this week in the books, right? Like, I don't know if that's giving Royce too much credit, but there's no way he doesn't see himself as a playoff team, meaning he doesn't see him losing this week. That's why he has the quote unquote luxury to buy 2 bye week players. But I I don't I don't have as much confidence as he does in this one. I think Ty wins this match. Royce does have a pretty juicy matchup. With Chase Edmonds, sorry. I'm a Chase Edmonds believer. I've watched him last year, and it's pretty exciting what he can do. But being the only show in town in a good matchup, I think he'll be all right. Jermichael Hasty has a pretty good matchup, but we'll see if Green Bay will just funnel the run. Because their wide receiver core is pretty banged up. And Justin Jefferson has a pretty good matchup for Royce as well. But I like Ty's side a little bit more. Fournette's arrows pointing up. Russ is going to be in, again, what I think is the shootout of the week. I think Lindsey's healthy enough to be a producer again. But he's also questionable, right? But I think the one thing that is a kind of a head scratcher or would make or break Ty's team would be the defense he's gonna pick up. So I don't think he picked one up this week just yet. So we'll see where he goes with that. But I think Ty has enough ammo to beat Royce this week.
Okay. Chris.
Just really quickly on defense, I thought Ty was going to pick up a defense, so that's why I put so much money on the Green Bay Packers. Looking back, I think Royce traded himself into loss. He has a lot of buys, and I agree. Like, he must think this is a layup. I think this is the game of the week because they're both 5-3. We both have them
Juggernauts. They're both juggernauts.
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 We both have them getting out of the booty contention. So it's like this is a must win for both of them just to kind of pad their win column. I agree, Leonard, that I think Royce has is shooting for that boom bust with Marvin Jones, Justin Jefferson, and Devontae Parker. But I don't even know really how I feel about Tua personally. Chase Edmonds is going to carry Royce's team, but I find Leonard Fournette, if Philip Lindsay plays, that's the big question mark. I think Philip Lindsay has like a toe injury, should pull through for Ty. So I have Ty winning.
Yeah, I also have Ty winning. Because who in this league has a luckier schedule than Royce, right? It's Ty. so Royce really is gonna meet his maker on this one. It's the battle of the Lucker Dogs, and so things to Ty probably wins this one, but things to watch are Mike Evans' production with AB confirmed to play this game, I think. And we have a sample size of one game with Tom Brady in New England last year that Tom Brady likes to zero in on Antonio Brown. I
Was
think
it like 4 for 4 with 60 and a touchdown, something like that?
I thought
Yeah.
he put him in for like 10 targets and then like
No, no, no. It wasn't a lot. It was like I watched that game
It was
because
four to six targets.
yeah.
yeah, it
So,
was. I think it was 4 of 4. He was playing the Dolphins. The Dolphins were ass last year at the beginning of the year.
yeah, but he was like the leading target, right? He wanted to get him involved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was definitely a concerted effort to get him involved.
Try to get
Yeah.
him. Is what I'm trying to say. So I think that might hurt Mike Evans because Mike Evans might have the upside of being the red zone threat that he is normally with Tom Brady, but so that would be one thing to watch. And DJ Chark needs to start producing at the clip that we know he can, but that might be a little bit iffy with the Jaguars potentially rolling out a new quarterback this week. So we'll watch where that goes. But I do have Ty winning this week if all else plays how they're supposed to be playing. Because I agree, Chase Edmonds and Jermichael Hasty. I mean, like, idea on paper, they're like
Yeah.
good matchups, but you really never know about players in their first start because
You know, you game plan for them and stuff like that.
yeah, and like being a backup and producing is different from being a starter and producing, right? Like look at Alexander Madison in that week that he was the starter. So it's a lot different. So yeah, we'll go to Chris versus Michael. Um, I'll go
David, what do you think?
first.
Yeah.
I think Chris wins this one. I mean, like his team is just too fucking strong right now. I mean, at least I think if Chris plays Devonte Adams, Aaron Jones, and was it who's his quarterback?
Deshaun
Tannehill.
Watson.
I think if you just played those three players, you would beat him. Like Michael, I think you would beat Michael if you just played those three players. So
For sure.
that's where I feel about that.
James, what do you think?
Um, I think Michael really needs to hit on the ceiling. Teddy Bridgewater is very uninspiring. I know it's gonna. I know it's a shootout potentially, but I don't see it. I think you're trying to play keep away from him, right? Like
Absolutely.
that's why you have 3.
Yep.
Um, so I think David Johnson has a pretty nice matchup. Chase Claypool is a boom bust, but he has a really nice matchup. Um, Tyreek Hill should do well. And I don't know if MT's playing, but if MT's playing, he's playing against Tampa Bay. So I don't like that matchup as well. And the CEH arrow is pointing all the way down right now. I don't know what's going on, and it hurts even more that Michael spent a first round pick on it. Um, it's a good running match. It's a good matchup for his RB, but CEH's usage is kind of all over the place. Love Bell's kind of muddying the waters, even though he's kind of involved, kind of not involved. But CEH has not made the most of the opportunities he's been given, and has not been separating himself from Lev Bell. So this could easily be a 50-50 timeshare.
Yep.
All right. I got myself. You know, because I gotta have myself. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know if Jordan Reed comes back. He still hasn't been off that designated to return list. And or Michael Thomas, right? Like those are two big question marks. I think if he gets both of them, it's a lot closer than we think. I have troubles as well. I have a lot of COVID issues on top of hoping if Aaron Jones comes back, and if Aaron Jones doesn't play with my two COVID cases, then it's going to be tough. On top of uh, this tight end I traded for, whether Matthew Stafford plays or not, I think that's a big question mark for Hawkinson. Uh, yeah, so yeah, if I don't have Aaron Jones playing, I'm gonna have to figure out a move for running back, and I think that will be pretty tough. I am currently trying to play keep away from Michael. I have 3 quarterbacks on my list that I think will do, better than what he has right now. Um, so we'll see. He hit me up for some trade offers, but it's almost like interdivisional trading. Like I'm not gonna trade someone that I'm playing this week. So there's that.
Okay. Yeah, and we'll go quickly into our prop bets of the week. Royce traded 2 players. Does Royce win this week? 2 players on bye. Does Royce win this week? I think.
I think we all said a fat no, right?
Yeah, we all said a fat no, but this is more for the league. So
Yeah.
all the casters say, or analysts say no. Over under there will be 3.5 trades made from the release of this podcast until the trade deadline, which is Monday, right? End
Yeah.
of Monday, Tuesday.
Next Monday.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna push because I was confused about this too. I didn't realize that I had that there was a trade deadline for week 10. Um, it was a topic I wanted to bring up next year, whether we should or shouldn't have a trade deadline. I didn't see too much sentiment um in the past couple weeks and even like so far this week. So that could change. Maybe we do. Maybe there is enough sentiment to abolish the trade deadline and just keep the doors open.
Yeah.
But I think when I think Chris brought it up that there's a week 10 deadline. I wasn't sure if it was like the beginning of week 10, so that would be what the end of the
Tuesday or
Monday
Wednesday?
night game or like Tuesday midnight or the end of week 10. So next Monday 11:59 p.m.
Yeah.
So I think to make things simpler, I'll put the trade deadline at right before week 11. So
Okay.
the end of week. So let's say November 18th 11:59 p.m.
I'm gonna take
Uh,
the was it 3.5? So 4 needs to go
4
through.
trades. Yeah.
So 4 trades in the next 5 days.
You
No,
said
in the
no
next
in the next whatever
11 days.
11 days.
Oh, in the next 11 days.
No, 14. Or what did
Yeah,
you say?
14 days. 14 days. 14
Yeah,
days from now.
14. Uh, 4
I s-
trades.
I-
I might
I
take the
smashed.
under on that.
I take the over on that.
I'll take the over on that as well.
You
I
two are
think-
just
I
gonna
think that-
trade each other to just hit the over.
to boost the number.
We're gonna make this trade just so David can take shots.
I'm not gonna trade just to hit the under.
No,
Alright.
I think this week has been a pretty inspiring week. Like we had some.
Exactly.
I think we've had like our first 3-way trade, a big
4-person trade.
8-player swap.
I think
And
Jonathan just
one-
wanted to be at the number 3 spot, and I really wanted to be at the number 11 spot on the draft. That's what it's panning out to be.
And then and then one doo-doo trade on top. So I think it's a pretty inspiring week.
That's cap.
Our league's getting more trigger
Better.
happy with these trades, which is
Yes.
always a good thing. It makes the league more fun. The dudes, whoever's like sitting on the sidelines, who hasn't made a trade yet, like y'all keep playing your boring ass game, but trading makes things a lot more exciting. I think for your team and as a league in a league as a whole. So I'm pretty optimistic that we'll hit 4 trades.
All right, and so we'll go real quickly through the roast. Our first roast is F Royce. If you guys want to take the next one, F Royce.
And then I'll go with the next one. Taste the rainbow, Timmy. Lol. Trying to trade Kittle all fucking year, and
Oh, you're
unfortunate.
right.
So taste the rainbow, Timmy. Lol. I don't know who put that one in.
And then the last roast of the night is I don't know who this is aimed at. I guess it could be Royce or you, David.
It's
but
probably Royce. It's probably Royce.
How are you going to trade for 2 players on bye? If you had to put Royce and David up against the wall, I think 10 out of 10 times Royce is getting roasted,
Yeah.
not David. So
Yeah. Other questions. True or false? David is at risk of missing the playoffs, and he's secretly panicking.
James, what do you think before David gets to ask?
true.
True. All right,
Oh, okay.
Chris.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with false. I think he was in. I mean, being at what's your record right now, David? 5-3.
Yeah.
So I think being at 5-3, he's in a better place. So I don't think he's panicking. He's just looking towards the future. So I'm gonna say false.
Yeah, obviously, of course, like smooth brain people won't understand, but I am planning for the future because when am I ever gonna play Antonio Gibson in weeks 12 through 15? Like never. His snap count has gone down since before the buy, so if you want to look deeper into that, is why I traded Antonio Gibson. Zeke's arrow is trending downwards. Miles Sanders hasn't been in the news for a while, so I feel like people are forgetting how truly good he is. And so uh, I don't think I'm at risk for missing the playoffs, but the moves that I've made probably won't pan out until a few weeks down the line.
For sure. All right. We already gave Michael a lot of tips for the last
Yeah,
place team, so
Michael sucks.
we're just gonna go for there. Like, thank you for listening. This was a Goliath of a podcast. Any
Sorry.
notes, anyone?
No, I'm good. All right.
Yeah, I'm good too. Hey, just good luck to everybody.
Good luck,
Peace out.
everybody. Good luck this
Yeah.
week.
Good luck, everyone.
See ya.
All right. Later.
Peace.